Hey, welcome to the heading tags challenge. So in that last challenge on H1 tags, you may have been wondering, why in the world is it an H1 instead of, say, just an H or maybe a heading or something along those lines? And the reason is because you can have multiple levels. So just like any Word document, you can have various levels of headings, where H1, and they generally denote importance. So the H1 might be the most important tag, the most important text on your web page. If this was a product page, maybe you're selling something, this could be the name of the product. Or if it's a blog post, this could be the title of the blog post, etc. But there are more H tags, more heading tags. And you'll see down here in the test, we want you to make one of each. And I'm actually not going to walk through that. I'll make an H2. And you'll see you get some nice auto-completion here, get some suggestions of what you might want to put in there. And you'll see that the suggestion box only goes to H6. There's no H7. It only goes to H6. You could put an H7 and the browser's just going to probably render it like a paragraph, or just like some random text that it'll display it, but it won't give it any different styling or semantic meaning. So let's make an H2. Oops, close it out. So when you close it out, remember you want a less than sign, a slash, the name of the tag, and the greater than sign. So now we have an H2 in there. You'll see it's a bit smaller than the others. And this should be pretty straightforward. Now that you've seen the H2, you've seen the H1, just go through and make all the other headings, the H3, H4, H5, H6. The reason I wanted to make a video on this one, though, is because that you actually don't use anything past H3 very often. And you certainly can. It's just that getting all the way down to H6 that's a pretty large hierarchy of heading tags, which most documents simply won't need. And if you are doing it just for, let's actually see how is it going to style in H6. My guess is, so you'll see that, look at that H6, and let's put a p tag in there as well. So this isn't custom to pairwise. We're actually just rendering this in the browser with all default styles. So none of this looks a specific way because we are in pairwise workspace. This is actually how it would look by default in Chrome, because that's the browser I'm using to record this. So you'll see that the p tag is actually bigger than the H6 tag, which seems a bit odd. I'm not sure why that is. But that's just the default styling, and it's suggestive that you probably don't get down to H6 very often. It's tiny. You'll also see later on in the course that if you want to make some text larger or smaller, or bold or less bold, make it really thin font, you can do all those things, and you don't need to do it with HTML. We'll be using something else, which we'll get into later, to determine styling. HTML is all about the content itself, not specifically how it looks. So that's just something to keep in mind. You finish out this challenge, but when you're working on projects yourself, when you're actually building websites, web pages, web apps, you will most likely not go past H3. You can, but if you do, you might see that you're doing it just to get some smaller or larger text, and you can do that in a different way. All right, see you in the next challenge.